Hi guys, this is Sadak from android-info.txt, and in this video, we'll show you how to fix the archive does not contain the android-info.txt file. So recently, I was flashing a custom ROM by the fastboot method, and as you could see in the screenshot, while trying to flash the file, I got this error message. I tried verifying the ROM package, and in fact, I found out that the ROM did not have this file, so the error message was in fact correct. Let me show you once again. So I had this ROM and this was the ROM file. I simply transferred the ROM file inside the platform tools directory, and then I booted my phone to the fastboot mode. Then let me open a new CMD window. So then I did a format data via fastboot space -w, and format data was done, and then I had to simply flash the ROM file. So for the ease of convenience, let's say rename the file to something shorter. Let's rename it to rom.zip. And I had to now do the flashing of the ROM file. So for that, as you might be aware, since if a phone does not have a custom recovery, then you could flash the custom ROM via the fastboot update command as well. Fastboot update rom.zip, and as soon as I hit enter, as you could see, archive does not contain the android-info.txt file. Fastboot error could not read the android-info.txt. So I extracted the ROM file, and after going inside the ROM zip file, I verified that in fact the file, there was no such file as well. I even extracted the payload bin file. You could extract the bin file via the fastboot enhanced tool. As you might be aware of, simply launch the enhanced tool, go to the payload dumper tab, click on browse, choose the payload bin file, click on open, and it only had the img and bin file. There was no text file as such. So I did a few research and found out that it was not the issue with ROM developers. Initially, I thought that the issue was that the developer has forgot to have this file inside their ROM, but that is not the case. There is no issue with the ROM developers or the ROM. In fact, the issue is from our end only. So as of now, what we are doing is the ROM which we are flashing is in fact a recovery ROM and not the fastboot ROM. And in the recovery ROM, there will never be the android-info.txt file. The android-info.txt file is only there in the fastboot ROM. So to rectify the issue, you have to find the corresponding fastboot ROM of this ROM for your phone. So let me now show you. As of now, I was flashing this file. I did a few research and found out that my phone also had a fastboot version of this ROM. So then I transferred the ROM file inside the platform tools directory, and let me now flash it as well. Let me remove the recovery ROM first, otherwise it might lead to confusion. And now let me rename it to ROM once again. And this is the fastboot version of the ROM zip file, flashing the ROM file. And as you could see, this time if we use the fastboot update ROM zip file, the flashing are now started. So again, I am repeating, the only issue was that we are flashing the recovery ROM in the fastboot mode, and in the recovery ROM there is no android-info.txt file, and that is why we got this error. So to rectify this issue, there are two approaches that you could take. Either flash the fastboot ROM in the fastboot mode, or boot your phone to the recovery mode and then flash the recovery ROM via the WRP recovery. Do not sideload the ROM via AOSP recovery such as the Lineage OS or C Android, as it might lead to a few issues. So either you may flash the recovery ROM via the WRP or Orange Fox recovery, or if you don't have a custom recovery, for example in case of Pixel phone, there is no custom recovery whatsoever. So you have no option but to use the fastboot method only. So in case of Pixel phone, if you are getting this error message, then you have to get hold of the fastboot ROM, and then once you have got the fastboot ROM, simply use the fastboot update rom.zip. First off, do a format data fastboot space -w, and then do a fastboot update rom.zip, and the flashing will now start. You could also combine both of them into one command as well. So you may also use the command as fastboot space -w, then update rom.zip. This will also do a format data first and then flash the ROM zip file, or you may use the fastboot w first and then use the update command. Both will work. The only thing to keep in mind is the fact that you will have to flash the fastboot ROM in the fastboot mode and the issue will be rectified. As of now, we were flashing the recovery ROM in the fastboot mode, and that is why we were facing this issue. And since we are now flashing the fastboot ROM in the fastboot mode, the flashing will now go on and there will be no issue whatsoever. And once the flashing has been done, your phone will not reboot to the OS. So I've also listed out the complete steps in my guide as well. You could refer to my guide and simply get the job done. It's highly recommended that you use the fastboot -w command, because before flashing a custom ROM and even after flashing the ROM, doing a format data is a must and is compulsory in most cases. So I will recommend you to do a format data before and after flashing the ROM. So simply do so, and with this the flashing will then carry out and will take a few seconds. And once the flashing has been done, you could then check out the ROM file and your phone will then boot to the OS as well. So guys, on that note, I round up this video. Let's just wait for a few more seconds and then I'll show you the status of my phone as well, that my phone will boot to the OS, and then we will round up the video as well. So guys, as you could see, the flashing is now complete and our phone will now boot to the OS. The first boot up will take up some additional time. That is completely normal and nothing to worry about. So let's wait for the boot animation or the boot logo to appear, either of which will signify that the flashing has been done successfully. Depending on the ROM which you are flashing, the first boot up might take up to around 30 seconds to even a minute. So as you could see, the flashing is now complete and we have now rectified and addressed the issue. So to round off, you are getting this issue because you have flashed the recovery ROM in the fastboot method. You have to simply flash the fastboot ROM in the fastboot method or flash the recovery ROM in the recovery method. In some ROM developers page, you might not find that mentioned, so you will have to keep a note of that as well. For example, I faced this issue in the Divest OS ROM which I just flashed. So let me show you Divest OS over here. If we go to there, and I was trying to flash the Pixel OS, the Divest OS on my Pixel 6a phone, and the page does not show the recovery and fastboot ROM clearly. So we might face some issues in that case. So as you could see, this is the ROM page, and if I show you the Pixel 6a, so it has simply given me the download method. So I simply used this download and then I got the file and I was trying to flash the file. But what I did not realize was that in fact it was a recovery ROM. So you will have to keep a tab on that as well. Then I had a look at the fastboot button as well, and then I realized there are two ROMs, the recovery and the fastboot. They should have at least mentioned the recovery keyword here, but that was not the case. So you will have to manually keep a track on that as well. And in most cases, the name of the ROM file will also give you a clue. For example, this is the fastboot ROM and this is the recovery ROM. In case of fastboot, you will get the fastboot keyword at the end of the file name, whereas in case of recovery, that will not be the case. So you could identify both of them. So in some cases, you will have to manually keep a track as well. As you could see, this is the recovery ROM and this is the fastboot. It's not mentioned that it's a recovery. I had then faced the issue and then I had a look at the fastboot keyword and then I realized this. So always keep this point in mind and then you will not face any issue whatsoever. So guys, on that note, we round up this video. If you have any queries with regard to any of the steps, do let me know in the comment section, and thanks a lot for watching.